Hola amigos, soy Sara. Hi friends, my name is Sarah, and today I'm going to read to you my favorite fairy tale. Can you guess what it is? I'll give you a hint. It's about a little girl with golden locks and 3 little bears. Do you know what story I'm going to read to you today? Yes, that's right! It's Goldilocks and the 3 bears. And I'm going to read my favorite fairy tale to you in both English and in Spanish. In Spanish, it's Brececitos de Oro y los 3 osos by Marta Mata. And who's on the cover? Yeah, that's right, it's Goldilocks. Oh, look, she's wearing a beautiful dress and her hair is all curly. I wonder what's going to happen in this story. Let's find out, friends. Oh, and look, on this page, we see 3 bears. There is a big bear, a medium bear, and a small little bear. How cute. In Spanish, bear means oso. Hay 3 osos. There are 3 bears. And there's Goldilocks. And she's sitting in a chair. Let's begin. One day, Goldilocks went for a walk in the forest. In the middle of the forest, she saw a little house. Un día, Brececitos de Oro paseaba por el bosque y en medio del bosque vio una casita. There's Goldilocks, and there's a little house, and in Spanish, little house is casita. It's Goldilocks, and she's walking through the woods. The door of the house was open. Goldilocks decided to go inside. Como la puerta de la casa estaba abierta, Brececitos de Oro decidió entrar. And there's Goldilocks. And look, there's the house that she's going inside. I wonder whose house it is. To find out. Tired from her walk, Goldilocks wanted to rest. First, she sat in a big chair, but it was too hard. Then she sat in a medium chair, but it was too soft. Finally, she sat in a little chair, and it was just right, until it broke. Oh no! Cansada por haber caminado tanto, Brececitos de Oro quiso descansar. Primero se sentó en una silla grande, pero era muy dura. Luego se sentó en una silla mediana, pero era muy blanda. Finalmente, se sentó en una silla pequeña. Era perfecta, pero se rompió. Oh no, broke. Oh, and look, this is a table, and a table in Spanish is la mesa. It's a really big table. There she is. Goldilocks stood up and felt very hungry. First, she ate soup from a big bowl, but it was too hot. Then she ate soup from a medium bowl, but it was too cold. Finally, she ate soup from a little bowl, and it was just right. Goldilocks gobbled it all up. Brececitos de Oro se paró y sintió mucha hambre. Primero probó sopa de un plato grande, pero estaba muy caliente. Luego probó sopa de un plato mediano, pero estaba muy fría. Finalmente Finalmente probó sopa de un plato pequeño. Estaba perfecta. Bricitos de Oro se tomó toda la sopa rápidamente. There's Goldilocks, and she tried the soup. She liked baby bear soup. Let's see. After lunch, Goldilocks was sleepy. First, she lay down in a big bed, but it was too high. Then she lay down in a medium bed, but it was too low. Finally, she lay down in a little bed, and it was just right. Goldilocks fell fast asleep. Después de comer Bricitos de Oro, tuvo sueño. Primero se acostó en una cama grande, pero era muy dura. Luego se acostó en una cama mediana, pero era muy blanda. Finalmente se acostó en una cama pequeña. Era perfecta. Bricitos de Oro se quedó profundamente dormida. She fell fast asleep. And a bed in Spanish is la cama. She's on her bed, fast asleep. No sooner was Goldilocks asleep than 3 bears walked into the house. Apenas Bricitos de Oro se quedó dormida, 3 osos entraron a la casa. There's 3 bears. There's a big bear, medium bear, and a little bear. It's the papa, the mama, and the baby. It's their house. Oh no, I wonder what's going to happen. Someone's been sitting in my chair, said Papa Bear. Someone's been sitting in my chair, said Mama Bear. Someone's been sitting in my chair, and they broke it, said Baby Bear. Alguien se sentó en mi silla, dijo Papá Oso. Alguien se sentó en mi silla, dijo Mamá Osa. Alguien se sentó en mi silla y la rompió, dijo Osito. Oh no. Goldilocks broke their little baby bear's chair. They're starting to see that someone's inside. Someone's been eating my soup, said Papa Bear. Someone's been eating my soup, said Mama Bear. Someone's been eating my soup, and they gobbled it all up, said Baby Bear. Alguien probó mi sopa, dijo Papá Oso. Alguien proba mi sopa, dijo Mamá Osa. Alguien probó mi sopa y se la tomó toda, dijo Osito. Oh no, she ate all the soup. La sopa. That's soup in Spanish. Someone's been sleeping in my bed, said Papa Bear. Someone's been sleeping in my bed, said Mama Bear. Someone's been sleeping in my bed, and she is still here, said Baby Bear. Alguien se acostó en mi cama, dijo Papá Oso. Alguien se acostó en mi cama, dijo Mamá Osa. Alguien se acostó en mi cama y ahora está durmiendo en ella, dijo Osito. They discovered that Goldilocks is sleeping in the bed, in Baby Bear's bed. They're looking at her. Do you think she'll wake up? Let's see and find out. Hearing the commotion, Goldilocks woke up. She was so surprised to see the 3 bears. She jumped out of bed and... Bricitos de Oro se despertó a causa del revuelo y se sorprendió mucho al ver a los 3 osos. Bricitos de Oro saltó de la cama y... What do you think's going to happen next? llegar a su casa. Oh, and there's Goldilocks, and she's running away from the house. Back home to her house. Through the woods. The end. And in Spanish, the end is el fin. So, el fin. I hope that you enjoyed reading the story with me today, and I'm so happy that you could join me to read one of my favorite fairy tales. I hope that you all have a wonderful day today. And in Spanish, adios means goodbye. So, adios amigos. Bye friends.
Hi friends, I'm Merida and I'm so excited to join you for story time today. I'm going to be reading a book called Bruce's Big Storm by Ryan T. Higgins. This here, the big bear, that's Bruce. And if you know me, well, you know I know a thing or two about bears, right? Bruce was a bear who did not like neighbors. Neighbors were loud, they were always interrupting and pestering. Now, the neighbor up here is asking Bruce if he wants a ride. The neighbor down there is asking if Bruce wants a brownie. And the neighbor here is asking him to play frying pan ball. Worse still, neighbors lived all over Bruce's neighborhood. One of them is asking, "Hi neighbor, do you have any robotic laser cutters I could borrow?" Bruce's neighbors were always coming and going, but at least none of them stayed very long, until the day of the big storm. The little froggy weatherman says, "Soggy Hollow's weather today will have rain that is very wet and wind that is very windy." "Sorry to be a bother," asked Bruce's neighbors, "but can we please stay here during the storm?" Bruce did not want visitors. He wanted to wait out the storm in peace and quiet. But not everyone felt that way. "Big storms are less scary when you're together. Let's invite everyone to play games in our pajamas." "Well, I love pajama parties, and we don't even have pajamas." As the rain started to fall and the winds got windier, more and more animals began to arrive. Finally, the whole neighborhood was there in Bruce's house. "Wait," said Rupert, "someone is still outside." Everyone went to the window to look. Well, almost everyone. There was a little bunny outside in the storm. "Someone has to save her," shouted Thistle. "I'm on my way," said Nibs as he ran out the door. But the big storm was too much for the mouse. And in his hurry, Nibs got a little carried away. Nibs' rescue mission was not going as planned. Nibs says, "I'm here to rescue you, but I need help down first." "It's okay," says Nibs. "This is all part of my plan." They're going to fly away until... Look down there. Whose paw do you think that is? Nibs and the bunny needed a little more help. "Bruce, you came to save us," says Nibs. And Bruce says, "You took my favorite umbrella." Oh no. Now Bruce is starting to lift off the ground too. "Maybe we need a new plan," says the bunny. Everyone had to pitch in, and together they pulled the bunny, the mouse, and the grumpy old bear back to safety, along with the umbrella. It had been quite an adventure. Everyone take one of Bruce's clean towels, says Thistle. Bruce did not like adventures. While the storm raged on outside, Bruce's visitors, cozy and warm, played games to pass the time. Duck, duck, Bruce, you're it! Bruce did not like games. Then, one last guest arrived. A great big oak tree, and it didn't knock. Battle stations! Bring me a chainsaw! I'm allergic to acorns! Look at that, crashing right into Bruce's house. They were all okay, but the house was not. I think the roof might have a leak, says Nibs. Still, everyone found a safe, dry corner to spend the night. Come morning, Bruce's house didn't look so great. Soon, Bruce's neighbors went back to their own homes, leaving Bruce behind to grumble in the rubble. But not for long. Now what? Says Bruce. All of Soggy Hollow, every neighbor came back to lend a hand, hoof, paw, or wing to help Bruce rebuild. Over time, Bruce's house was put back together even better than before. They even added on a new room. We call this addition the Rumpus Room. It's for rumpusing. It became a popular place in Soggy Hollow for all the neighbors to gather and have fun. I have 5 old maids, says the fox. You can't have 5 old maids in poker, says the mouse. I thought we were playing Go Fish. Hey, who's been eating all the poker chips? Asks Thistle. Well, I thought they were crackers, says Nibs. Bruce did not like fun, and he still did not like neighbors. But they sure liked him. The end.
Hi, my name is Aria, and I am going to be reading Dewey, There's a Cat in the Library by Vicki Myron and Brett Witter. I love this book because I have my own little library cat. He's right there. His name is Bandit. Every night, people left books in the return box of the library in the small town of Spencer, Iowa. Funny books, big books, truck books, pig books. They left them all. But one night, on the coldest night of the year, someone left a strange surprise. A tiny kitten. When Vicki the librarian found him the next morning, the kitten was cold and scared and very, very dirty. Vicki took one look and decided to give him a warm bath. The kitten went into the sink brown and crying, but he came out orange and purring. "I'm going to keep you," said Vicki, who already loved him. "We'll name you Dewey Read More Books. We can live here and be our own, you can live here and be our own library cat." But Dewey had no idea what it meant to be a library cat. So he did what all kittens do. He played. He lounged on the newspaper, rode the book cart, and knocked pens to the floor. He goofed around with Marty Mouse, snooped in every open drawer, and always found at least one rubber band. But what Dewey loved most of all was people. Tall ones, round ones, quiet ones, and loud ones. The little ones, however, surprised him, and not always in a good way. "Look, Nathan," said his mommy, "there's a cat in the library." Nathan bent down and said, "Hi, Hooey Dewey Yooks." "No," said his sister Hannah, "it's Dewey, read more books." Dewey squirmed. The boy was petting him in the wrong direction. Dewey loved to be petted, but he hated being petted in the wrong direction. Dewey was licking his fur back into place when he heard a strange noise. Wah! Dewey's ears perked up. He looked around. Wah! Wah! Dewey sprang to attention and crept really slowly toward the sound. Surprise! The little people Dewey discovered came in tiny sizes too, and they loved to giggle and grab and pull and coo. Babies are wonderful, Dewey thought, cute and smell-licious too. A few days later, Dewey went exploring and discovered, in a secret room, the most exciting thing he'd ever seen. Children's Story Hour! Wowsy whiskers, this looks fun, Dewey thought, as he pushed into the room with his nose. Someone shouted, "There's a cat in the library!" Dewey froze. It was quiet for a minute. Then everything went wild. And the next thing Dewey knew, he was being carried upside down. Oh my, Dewey thought, what should I do now? Late that night, Dewey talked to his friend Marty Mouse. "The library is a wonderful place," said Dewey, "but I'm tired of being pulled and poked and carried upside down. I'm not just a cat in a library. I'm a library cat. A library cat helps people, I think, and I'm 92% convinced that that's the reason I'm around." Marty Mouse didn't say anything. "I'm gonna do it," Dewey said. "I'm going to help people." And he felt so happy that he threw Marty Mouse into the air, kicked him with his back legs, and then slept on him like a pillow. The next morning, when the first people arrived, Dewey was waiting to greet them right by the front door. All morning, Dewey acted like a library cat. He read with the mommies and grandmas. He helped the daddies work. He even shelved books with the library clerk. When he saw little Nathan, he turned a circle into half so the boy could pet his back from his head down to his tail, the right direction to pet a cat. "I'm glad we're friends, Dewey," said Nathan. Dewey smiled at that. By lunchtime, Dewey was worn out. He found a good box. First, he put his front paws inside, then his belly. He squished his back end down, wiggled around until he was all the way in, and closed his eyes. "There's an orange muffin in the library," a girl giggled. But just as Dewey was about to drift off into sweet kitten dreams, he heard a heavy sigh. His eyes popped open and he saw a girl on the other side of the library. A sad little girl reading very quietly, all by herself. He climbed up close and stared at her. She looked the other way. He sniffed her hand. She wouldn't play. He knocked her mittens to the floor. She let them stay. Then he saw her jacket and had his best idea yet. "Silly always works. I'll be a silly cat today." The girl stared at Dewey. "You look like a fuzzy hot dog in a purple bun," she said. And then she surprised him. She laughed right out loud. "I love you, Dewey. Read more books," the girl whispered, as Dewey nestled into her lap and began to purr. This is it, Dewey thought. I'm a real library cat, and it feels great. No, it felt better than great. It felt perfect. The end.